What's up, y'all? Welcome to Simmer Daily. And today I want to talk about why when you're trying to do something different, it always feel like cringy or it feel like cliche. Like when you're trying to step out your comfort zone, it had like that little eerie feeling like, damn, it feel uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of time that's needed. Like when you're trying to step out your comfort zone, it requires you to do something that you never did before. You get what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. You can't have new results with old way of thinking. You can't have new results with your old habits. So it requires you to be something different. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes you need that in life when you're trying to level up. You need that in life when you're trying to become that new version of yourself. Sometimes you got to reinvent yourself. It's never, ever, ever too late to reinvent yourself, no matter what. Anytime you want to do something different or you see something that you want to tweak, something that you want to kind of like get rid of and do something new and replace that, you want to replace old habits with new habits. You want to replace your old way of thinking with a new way of thinking. It takes a while, but it takes 3 weeks to build a new habit. So all you gotta do is do something consecutively for at least 3 weeks, and by then it kind of gets into your routine. So now you're doing something different, and then you just gotta keep the ball rolling. You get what I'm saying? I feel like it's a lot of times people want to do something different, and then they might tell somebody, and that person might instill fear into them. So then that'll kind of hinder your growth. It'll stunt your growth. It'll make you feel like what you're trying to do is wrong, and it's never wrong. What was wrong is you telling that idea to the wrong person. Sometimes you gotta talk about it with God and just move forward. You gotta write your plans down and become that new version of yourself. Sometimes you ain't gotta tell nobody. Sometimes you gotta isolate and really lock in with yourself. You gotta lock in with that new way of thinking. You gotta build that rapport with yourself so now you know like, okay, bet, I could do this. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you might tell somebody something and the fear they instilling in you is the fear they have within themselves. Trust me. A lot of times that's all it is. So what you gotta do, you gotta show them. Sometimes you can't really be talking. Sometimes you can't really tell people your ideas. You just gotta do it. And once you show them the results, then they gonna move accordingly. Then they gonna ask you for help. They gonna ask you for advice. They gonna ask you for help. Now they coming to you like, oh, how should I do this? How should I do that? And that's all it be, man. I'm trying to tell you, this is real talk. Like for me, example, I'm doing YouTube. You see me uploading these videos. I never did it before. This is my first time that I did it, and I just did it. I just jumped in that water and did it. I ain't asked nobody. I rarely ask for advice on this level. I just started doing it. I wrote down my notes. I got my little game from different YouTubers and I just did it. I jumped in that water, sink or swim. You get what I'm saying? That's just what it is with me, at least. If I want to do something new, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it in my brain. I'm gonna write it down, pen and paper, and I'm gonna do all the steps to do it. That's just the person I am. So when I want to do something new, when I want to reinvent myself and become a new version of myself, I'm going to do it by any means necessary because time wait on nobody. Trust me, by the time you blink, it's going to be the end of the year. By the time you blink again, it's going to be the middle of the next year. You really can't sit here and think you got all the time in the world because you really don't. Our time is limited. So I'll tell you right now, anytime you got something that you want to do, you got to do it. Trust me. Don't ever let nobody discourage you and feel like you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. Fuck that. That's from me to you. Doing something new that you never done before and you just feel like people are judging. You feel like people are watching. You feel like people are critiquing you. Well, being real, they probably are, but who gives a fuck? They ain't doing shit anyway. You get what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, the people who are doing shit usually don't have enough time to critique you. And the people who aren't doing shit usually have enough time to tell you what you're doing wrong. But then when you ask them for help, they got no fucking advice. So who we gonna really listen to? You get what I'm saying? You also got to think about this too. A lot of people aren't happy with themselves. So if they see somebody else happy with themselves, if they see somebody else trying to do something different, it's like a subconscious thing where they're going to try to instill that fear into you. They're going to try to instill that doubt into you. Whole time is projection. Projection is a major thing that a lot of people do and they don't even realize it. I promise you, a lot of times it's not even intentional. It's just an inner thing. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. They have a certain emotion and they're pouring it into you. Whole time is just reflection of themselves. So that's all I'm saying. Like when you're trying to become that new version of yourself, you're trying to step out your comfort zone, you really can't have too much outside noise into you. Like you can't really let that like facilitate into your way of thinking. You gotta do what you gotta do, and by any means, you just gotta stick it out. You gotta see it all the way through. One thing about me, ain't nobody putting no fear in my brain. Ain't nobody putting no doubts in my brain. Cause once I set something out to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see it through. Even if it doesn't happen the way I want it to, like even if I pictured it a certain way and then it come out exactly how I pictured it, the fact that I seen it through to the end and I got a result, now I know what I could critique. Like now I know what I can kind of edit and fix up. You get what I'm saying? You gotta have patience. You can't be trying to do something new and feel like it's gonna take off the moment you do it. That's where a lot of people fail. A lot of people feel like when they start something new, they feel like they're just gonna excel at it and be super great in the beginning stages. It don't work like that. And that's a lot of times when people just say fuck that and go back to their old ways. That's why a lot of people stay stuck in what they want to do. I'm a victim of that. So I'm telling you from my own experience. I'm telling you, there was a lot of times I want to do something new and I felt like it didn't happen how I wanted to, and then I just say, fuck it, it ain't for me. Whole time, I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't even give it at least 3 months. I ain't even at least give it 6 months. I didn't even at least give it a year. And you get what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes a little moment for the momentum to get it rolling. You gotta wake up one day and say, I wanna try something new, and you gotta do that. You gotta stick to it. That's part of having yourself accountable. I said it in the last video. You gotta hold yourself accountable. If you say you wanna do something new, you gotta see it through. You can't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then the next day you don't wanna do it no more. You wanna go do something you used to do. You're not being realistic. You're not gonna see no results if you keep thinking it's gonna be like that. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of things I'm saying right now, trust me, I done tried it, I done did it, I done lived it. So anything I'm talking about right now is shit that I could really vouch for, that I could say that I actually did it or I went through it. You get what I'm saying? When you want to be a new version of yourself, it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of accountability. It requires a lot of just you showing up for yourself. 100%. You're not going to get something great out of life if you don't show up for yourself every single day. That's just bottom line. You can't expect somebody else to want to show up for you. You can't expect somebody else to want to clap for you when you ain't even clapping for yourself. Let's just be real. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta do it with no claps. Matter of fact, it's a lot of times that I'm doing shit in life and nobody sees it. It's just me and God. It's a lot of times where I'm in the dark doing what I need to do. I don't see nobody. I don't see no applause. I don't see no congratulations. I don't see no nothing. It's just me and what I'm doing and God. I'm just in the dark grinding. And sometimes you gotta go through that. You gotta grow through that. I promise you, it'll get better. It'll get greater later. But by any means, you just gotta show up for yourself each and every day. Honestly, when you stepping outside your comfort zone, when you doing things that you never did before, you gotta show up for yourself when nobody does for you. You gotta show up for yourself when nobody clapping for you. You gotta show up for yourself when you feel like people doubting you, when people trying to project on you, when people trying to tell you it's not gonna work. You gotta say fuck that and show up for yourself. Because the moment you show up for yourself and the moment that it actually works and you win, that's when everybody gonna come back and tell you how they've been seeing it all along. They gonna tell you they always seen it in you. They gonna tell you they knew you can do it. All that little shit that don't mean nothing now, because when you wanted it, you ain't get it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why you gotta love yourself enough to reinvent yourself. That's why you gotta love yourself enough to become the person that you always knew you can become all along. Sometimes all it takes is just you to make that right decision to know like, okay, this is what I want out of life and I'm gonna do it by any means. Bottom line, what I'm trying to get at, man, is we all gotta do something new so we can get new results. We all gotta step outside our comfort zone so we can reinvent ourselves completely and become a new version of ourselves that we all set out to be. And I believe in y'all just like y'all believe in me. And even if y'all don't believe in me, I believe in myself enough to become and achieve everything I set out to be. You get what I'm saying? So if you agree with what I'm saying, this part of the Sim series, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and drop in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this topic. Appreciate y'all for checking in. We're going to tune in next time.